Hi guys, welcome to my video to show you how I made my electric powered longboard. I tried to take as much footage as I could along the way, but please note I am no videographer, so bear with the shaky footage. I hope this inspires some of you to build your own boards or help you with your own builds as well. Let me know what you think in the comments and I'll always try to reply if you have any questions. Thank you and enjoy. Okay, this is the collar that I bought for clamping onto the truck, and then what I'll do is I'll be screwing the motor mount that I'll be fabricating to the side of it. It's not round in the center, it's oval, so I'm not sure if that's an issue. You can see here that it's not quite rounded, it's elliptical, but I think it'll be fine. If not, I can just, adapt the shape slightly. But yeah, so it will fit over the truck like that and clamp onto it. And hopefully the braces that are on the truck there won't get in the way. If they do, then I might have to just grind them away slightly, just to create a bit more space, because I need to get the sprocket in there and the obviously the chain, and then the motor mount itself, and then that clamp. Okay, so here I'm just going to be offering up the clamp to the truck just to see if it fits. Now the bore seems to be smaller than the truck itself. I think the truck is something like 18 mil, and the bore of that clamp is only something like 15. So I'm probably going to have to cut away some of it just to not rebore it, but just cut away some of it so that it fits a bit better. Actually, if it digs in it with a point and then clamp it like this, then that would be better because it gives it more grip. Then if you can clamp it in, then it's a lot better. The bolts will reach; they are long enough, so that's not so much of a problem. Okay, here basically what I'm doing is just milling away some a part of the clamp itself, just so that it opens up the bore inside and allows it to clamp around the truck a lot easier. I'm doing both sides here by both screw holes, bolt holes, and then obviously both pieces, and then hopefully it should open up a bit and help it fit. Now I've only milled away one of them at the moment, the left hand side one here, and just try and offer it up on the clamp itself, on the truck, sorry, and it looks perfect actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and mill this side, the right hand side, and do it exactly the same so that it clamps a lot better. Now rather than mill the other one, I thought I'd just grind it, to be honest, on the grindstone. It seems to be a lot easier, and my drill bit wasn't really liking milling the clamp away. So yeah, here I'm just basically doing it on the grinder, which worked just as well. So basically, I've just taken the truck off, and I need to grind away a little bit of this brace here, and a little bit of this brace here, so that I can get the collar on this part of the axle itself, because it just needs to be a bit further over to accommodate the wheel and the sprocket and then the motor mount, and then the collar. So it just needs to be a bit wider. So I'll just be doing that on the grinder. Down a bit, you can see the difference between the original side and this side, and then taking a bit off of this one just here, so that I can then put the collar around here. Hopefully it should clamp on and stay, but I may need to put a locating screw in there just to keep it there. We'll see how the collar fits. Looks like it's going to fit quite well. There may not be a need for a locating pin. Let's tighten it up. Okay, now that is crazy tight, and that's how it will sit. Now that's possibly not quite sitting straight. I'll have to check that out with a bit of carbon fibre to make sure that this is flush around here. I'll drill a 20mm hole, because this is gonna connect to this. Got to drill holes in this in strategic places so that the motor mount can then screw in there with some countersunk M3 screws. Yeah, it looks a little bit skew-iff right now, so I may just need to flatten the axle of the truck a little bit more. See how that goes. I ground down some of the collar on one side, and now if I put this collar on like that, it's actually sitting, doesn't actually look it right now, but that's actually quite straight. Obviously it's going to sit like this, but that's actually quite straight, so I'm quite happy with that. Once I'd sorted out the bracket, I moved on to the sprocket for the actual wheel itself. Now, in this bit of video, basically, I looked to use these two washers to space it out from the wheel to give it enough space for the chain. But what I didn't realise at the time was that although the outer diameter of the washers was perfect to fit the sprocket, the inner diameter of 10mm was far too small, because it had to actually go around the truck as opposed to just butting up to the end of the truck like the original tiny little washer does. So what I did was, you'll see it later on in the video, I actually melted down some plastic into a cylindrical shape, and then basically turned on a makeshift lathe, basically in a drill. I just turned a spacer, a washer that had an 18mm diameter and just over 30mm radius, and also I shaped it so that it would sit inside the wheel itself. So where the curve of the wheel, where as it concaves, it would actually sit inside. So we'll see that later, but this is just me being stupid, thinking that would be fine. It kind of fits nice, but it's all wrong. It needs to move over an extra, however wide those washers are, which is about 6mm, I'd say. But yeah, we'll move on to something else after that. Silly me. Okay, so I found this tray online, on eBay, of course. It's actually a sill tray for a plant pot, but it's the right depth. It's a little bit long, a bit too long. Don't need all that space for the radio gear, but actually once it's on and in position, it doesn't look too bad. The way I'm going to secure this is with some little angle brackets, and the way it'll work is it'll go inside. So if I just move that over, so that will sit there on the board, and it'll be bent backwards to be the same angle, because this goes at an angle. So this will be bent back at that angle inside. Try and do all this one-handed like that. So it'll be secured to the board, and then there'll be a little thumb screw that will go through and into here. Okay, basically what I'm doing is marking up to put this tray on the board. I've left the protective film on the board as well, just because, you know, it helps. I can just rip it off at the end. Make sure this is tight. Okay, that's that done. So that's going to fit over there like that, and the brackets will be close to the plastic. There's a little bit of place, so I can bend those out slightly. They might be bent in a bit too much. So that's nice and tight, there's no play going that way now. So all I need to do is drill the holes where the bolts are going to come out. Obviously I have to do a measure up. And then that should keep that securely down like that, and I'll do the exact same thing on the other end. And that's the compartment for all the radio gear. Okay, so I've fitted the brackets, and I just found these bolts. I won't permanently use them, but I'll just put them in just to check that it's all working and it's holding it down nicely. Let me turn it over, and you can see that it's held against the board. I've yet to do that end as well. But that hopefully is going to be able to house all of the electrics and not play around too much with the profile of the board. Okay, so basically I've secured the tray to the board, and I've just put some temporary bolts in there just to hold them. Hold it in temporarily, obviously. You can see those here. That's the one there, and this one up here. They're two different ones, obviously get the same. You can see the profile going down. It's not changed too much, not changed the board too much, and there's still quite a bit of ground clearance as well. So I'm just going to put the wheels back on and give it a try. So here all I'm doing is drilling the hole for the grub screw for the pinion. This is obviously going to fit on the motor, on the shaft, but it needs to be drilled because it didn't come with it. That's a M3, but eventually I change it to an M4. Okay, so here what I'm doing is basically making an insert to go inside the sprocket, inside the bore of the sprocket, which has the right diameter to fit inside that sprocket, and also the right bore so that I can fit the axle through it. Basically that's to help me get it centered properly, get the actual sprocket centered, so that I can then mark the holes and get them drilled. So as you can see, it just fits nice and snug into the bore of the actual sprocket itself. Okay, so that's the first hole drilled in the right place, right next to the collar of that the bore on that sprocket. So now what I'm going to do is basically mark out for two other holes. So there'll be three equally spaced holes at 120 degrees between each other, and that'll be the 3 bolt holes to hold it onto the wheel. Okay, so I've already drilled the first 2 holes in the sprocket, and they've gone into the wheel. So I've added a couple of bolts in there to help secure it for the last, like as I've gone along, like 1, 2, 3, just so that it holds it in place, doesn't move. At the moment, it's flush to the wheel, so it will be spaced out when it's got the spacer in there. But yeah, for now, it's best if it's close to the wheel. Get the holes aligned right, and then everything will be centered. So here I've just marked out on the shaft of the motor where the actual pinion needs to go, so that it sits in the right place and lines up with the sprocket once it's on the actual the wheel and the axle. I've just marked it with a Sharpie so that I know where to file, basically. Just lining it up with where it's going to go. Obviously the collar's there, the motor mount is going to sit flush with the collar and go towards the motor there. So I'm just lining up the sprockets. So here all I'm doing is putting the thread in the hole that I drilled into the pinion so that I can get the grub screw in there. Just tapping it out. And this is the motor mount. This is ABS, plastic ABS, but it's got a carbon fibre look on one side. But eventually I'll replace it with an actual carbon fibre. This is just for testing. I didn't want to waste any carbon fibre. So I'm just punching out where the holes go to screw the motor on. And that was just the centre one being done there. I've drilled it out here, and I'm just basically sanding down with a perma grip, sanding the plastic down on the corners just to make it a little bit more presentable. And that's how that looks. I'm just trying to split this chain as well. I need to split it here, but I don't have a splitter, and this chain seems like it isn't supposed to be split. And that's the only length I need from there to there, which goes around the sprocket and the pinion And yeah, so that's it. So I'm just in the middle of doing that now. Hopefully I'll have that licked soon and I can get installing. So having drilled the holes in the motor mount and marked everything up on the collar, I'm just drilling the M3 holes in the collar now for the bolts to go into. So they'll go through the motor mount and into the collar to hold it nice and secure. Obviously I need to tap those for an M3. This is just basically doing each one. There's 3 of them on there. This is doing each one. Okay, so now that that's all screwed up, all I'm doing now is mounting it onto the axle, onto the truck itself, making sure that everything's really secure on that axle so that it doesn't move at all. Just screwing in the last of those bolts there to make sure that it's all lined up. Obviously I had to clamp it on first before I could put the other 2 screws in, because the clamp would move. But where I marked out the holes, it was marked clamped right up, so they should be very, very tight and in line. Okay, so basically I've finished the mount and mounting the sprocket on the wheel and the pinion. The wheel is on, the chain is on, and everything is fitted in terms of motor. Still all the radio gear and everything to go and to put into there, but all the drive train itself is fitted, and so that's working at the moment. Okay, so I've just crudely set this up. Found out that I bought the wrong type of speed controller. It's only 45 amp, which I thought would do, but I could probably do with another one. I've ordered another 95 amp, I think it is, or 90 amp. I am eventually going to be running two 11.1s off of this, but the one I bought two at the same time, and one of them came dead, so I don't have my charger yet. So I'm just going to need to charge that up, see if that's going to work. If not, I'll have to send it back. But I've just got one at the moment just to prove stuff. And I've connected everything up. Oh yeah, the reason I got the wrong speed controller is because it doesn't have Beck, so it can't power my receiver. So I've had to make up a little AA pack just to power it for now, which is fine. Like that'll do for now. Testing. This is the controller. Eventually, I want to get a smaller controller because this is way too big. Way too big to be carrying around with me with the board. But to be honest, it was like £18, including the receiver, so couldn't really go wrong, to be honest. So it's all connected up, it's all working, and if we pull the trigger, we get movement. Seems a little bit loud, but I'm thinking it might quieten down once the board's on the ground and it's not on my bench. So the wheel wobbles more than anything else. The actual polyurethane wheel is wobbling rather than any of my machining. So if you can see the sprocket, it's actually, the sprocket's fine. It's the wheel that's wonky. And the motor mount is holding off well. I mean, that is just what's it called? The plastic. So I'm going to turn all this off for now and very crudely just connect it, put it in the box, and take it out for a little bit of a test drive. See how it goes. It is night time, so I doubt I'll get any video, but we'll see. See how it goes. See if it breaks. Okay. Okay, the switch is ready to be installed now. There's a hole pre-drilled, so I'm just going to get it. It's a tight fit, so I'll get it in. I should have probably put it in first and then soldered the wires, but that would have been a bit awkward. So I'll just get this in and then wire it up. Okay, so that's done. At the moment I've still got one battery in there, but I will be using get this off. I will be using this serial cable to have 2 packs in serial, and then it goes to power. So the XT60s will just work exactly the same, but we have this one going to the power supply, like so, and then this one goes to the speed controller. Once the other speed controller comes, then that'll just be it. That'll be a power button for everything. So then, if I just turn this over, grab the camera, you can see there's the power button. Not very good light. And when I turn it on, we get a nice glow of red. Okay. Now, I would go and try this again, but it's not worth it because I'm going to wait until I get the speed controller, and then that shouldn't cut out then, because that's just heating up. This one, it's just not powerful enough at all. Go, you're fine. Careful, lean forward. Careful!
The longboard is in action, and there's a little kid following him. It's going very fun.
Well guys, that's it. Hopefully this video is going to help you to build your own longboard, and I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it was a bit long. Again, if you've got any questions, leave me a comment. Make sure you like it if you like it. But yeah, any suggestions that you can put my way, I'll be grateful. And until my next project.